Okay, and we're live. So, welcome back, everyone. We last spoke to you on the Aries new moon, and now we're coming to you on this full moon in Libra, I believe.
Yes.
Perfect. So, I'm just going to turn it right over to Toni and let her ground and center us in and share the card that she pulled for us today.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel in the belly all the way up. Exhale out of the mouth. Do that one more time. And on that next exhale, I want you to imagine that the air is just coming out of the bottom of your feet. Just see the air come out the bottom of your feet, going down into the earth. Do that a little bit more, that breath. And that next time, it's going to kind of feel like roots are coming out of your feet. And just let it flow out. Exhale out of the bottom of your feet and allow your roots to connect deep within the earth. Know that you're safe, that you're protected. This is a sacred space for you and your growth. You deserve this. You belong somewhere, and you're worthy of this time. Take one more big breath. And on this last inhale, I want you to hold it. Hold it as long as you can. And then, push it all out. Mm.
Short and sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into the moment here with this beautiful full moon in Libra, and then it kind of transitions into Scorpio in the last 2 days of the full moon. So,
Mm.
um, before even pulling a card, for sure, began to bring attention to what needs balance within your life.
Yeah.
With Libra, because that's what Libra is all about. But also, the scales are associated with the Egyptian goddess Ma'at.
Mm-hmm.
So justice, the scales of justice. And to me, that feels like, doing the right thing for yourself, even when no one is looking. Even when
Yeah.
no one is looking. Um, as we all become more aware and more conscious of all of our energy and how to be intentional, we're not going to be perfect, but there does come a point where you have to enforce your own justice, your own personal justice within yourself. Call on that masculine energy and create the systems in your life that are right instead of
Mm.
avoiding it. So that's the first
Mm-hmm.
thing I felt um, when I think of my aunt and the laws of my aunt, what are just basic things that you're supposed to do in life.
Yeah.
Don't lie, be nice,
Yeah.
treat the earth right, don't be wasteful, basic things that we're all really being called to look at right now as we spend more time inside,
Definitely.
right? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know for me, I've noticed where I've been wasteful and where I could be more intentional, physically and spiritually, emotionally, energetically, like all of it. Like, okay, maybe that's not the best way to use my energy. So, calling in that balance in Libra, and then watch out because when it goes over to Scorpio, it's gonna be emotional. it's gonna,
We're gonna go
it's
deep.
it's gonna be a lot of waves,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of shadow work. Some
Mm-hmm.
things you might, I know these past couple of weeks, coming up with a new schedule for myself, I have discovered some spots within my life that needed some attention.
Yeah.
And so this full moon will illuminate, because that's what the full moon does. No
Yeah.
hiding. No hiding under this moon. Okay, so working with the Moonology deck, and we'll see what the cards have for us. Look at the bigger picture. Wow.
Yep.
Welcome to the life we're living in now, right? We have to look
Exactly.
at big picture. And so that's why creating that balance within yourself, within your home, and enforcing that own personal justice is what's needed, because when it's time to get back out there, you want to project out that same energy, big picture, you
Yeah.
know? So what's going on with you, Jay, with this full moon? How are you feeling?
Well, I loved what you said, first of all, when you said, not being wasteful. And I thought of that right away in a material sense,
Mm,
because even though we're not in a shortage really of material goods right now, like we still have access to food and water and things like that. There is potentially a tendency to go into a false sense of scarcity because people buy out all the toilet paper and buy out all the water and stuff. So it seems like there isn't any. Um, so just staying in that mindset of abundance, that there's always enough, that you have enough, only taking what you need for now, like those sorts of things come up for me. And I loved how you said this isn't just physical, but like where might you be wasting energy emotionally or mentally? So that was helpful to me, because this is a time where it's easy for our energy to get hijacked by fear and a lot of the drama that is the news and updates, and trying to stay informed without becoming too obsessive about it. So a lot of our emotional and mental energy could easily get zapped by things like that. So bringing intention, and like you were saying, for me, what's been important is to really ground into my routines. So I'm spending more time in meditation than normal right now. I am doing a daily yoga practice instead of just when I feel like it right now. And those things bring some order and purpose to my day. And I think what a great time to illuminate our larger vision for our lives, so that we don't just get caught up in the mundane of the daily right now, and we have something that we're working towards.
Oh, I think beautifully said. I want to go back to the wastefulness in the material world. Sometimes when we think about living in the vibration of abundance, it's like, well, I can consume whatever I want at the pace
Mm-hmm.
that I want, because there's so much. But sometimes that turns into anxiety, where you're over consuming because you really are living in a place of scarcity. So you're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I got to use it up now while it's here. I might as well, because it's going to go away.
Yeah.
And it's a very fine line. And when you can be intentional and take your time and actually breathe throughout your day, breathe while you eat, breathe while you use the products within your house, I feel like that is more of a place of abundance, and living in that state of abundance is
Yeah.
to just be in the moment with what you are consuming,
Mm-hmm.
and if you decide to spend a day sitting on the couch watching a series, deep breathe through it and enjoy it. Get lost in it, how a kid does. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
not not how we halfway pay attention to stuff. We got our phone out, we have our computer
Right.
out, and there's nothing totally wrong with that. But if you're gonna do it, like, don't be wasteful. Enjoy yourself. So when the
Mm-hmm.
next day comes and it's time to clean up, work out, do all this other stuff, you've had that time.
Yes.
So, if anything, try to live through abundance with mindfulness
Yeah.
and showing up in each moment. And you'll see that there's so much to milk out of each
Mm-hmm.
moment, out of each piece of toilet tissue, and out of each Clorox wipe.
Yeah.
There is, you
Absolutely.
know, think about how far can disinfectant spray really go for you on a counter. Just deep breathe through it, from the
Yeah.
belly, and experience it. And I say that is because that is the tool I've been using. Okay.
Yeah.
I never want anyone to think that I think I'm perfect, because I am not. And
Yes.
what has helped me.
And honoring these pockets of potentially time that you've gotten back in an intentional way, you know, it's not all that different for some of us. Like for myself, going outside is very different right now. There's not very many people out, and normally we live right off of a big street, so there's lots of traffic and people all the time, and it's pretty quiet. And there have been some small changes, but my day-to-day doesn't look that different because I do work from home. So I've been able to kind of still stay anchored in that routine. I've just heightened some of my activities like meditation and yoga and things that ground me in my ability to stay calm. But if you have gotten back pockets of time, let's say you're no longer driving your commute to work, or you're working from home at a different, maybe part-time, let's say, or not as many hours, using that time with intention can feel really abundant if you now have these spaces of time to be totally present to whatever you're doing, even if that's watching Tiger King. That's like the ultimate wealth, is having time freedom.
Yeah.
To have
Beautifully
space.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for me, my day to day, like where I am physically, hasn't changed that much, but no longer do I get that much alone time
Yeah.
throughout this, which has really called me to be more intentional with my breath, with my words, with my emotions, to not allow my temper or anything, if I'm not being patient enough. I really discovered whenever I'm being so impatient with my son or my family, I'm being very impatient with myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not giving myself space to just be and to just honor how I'm feeling. And that is something I've discovered in this process by being intentional with my energy and movement. Movement has came back into my life in a beautiful way. And really turn it into a time of meditation, affirmations, calling on whatever entity is here to help me, angels, spirit guides, but also to relate with my son, and to tell him, like, hey, it's always good to move your body, like bringing patience back into it. That has been my lesson for sure. And I also feel, I think this is with Aries, especially with everything going on, we're really being called on how to show up physically.
Yeah.
Because if you have so much more space and time for just to be in your body and in your house,
yeah,
it really is. You're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that, I had this shoulder pain, or I didn't realize I could stretch that far. Like, discovering all of these new physical things about yourself, and realizing how when life is so busy, we really can't forget about the body.
Right. Yeah. It brings us right back into the present moment. It's a way to become embodied, to become aware once again. And if you are using some of this time that you've been given back to take really good care of yourself, that just builds you up to be a strong platform for others. And I feel like with this, like the Aries new moon that we came off of it feels individualistic to me. And now this full moon feels a little bit more like collaborative or cooperative. How are we all working together? So it's a really good time to be like getting very strong in those things that help you feel very good in yourself, so that you can be helpful and beneficial to others.
Libra is ruled by Venus. So things of the heart, connection, love, money, beauty, things that bring us together. And obviously in this time, it's like we can see the only way we can get through this emotionally, physically, spiritually, is to come together. So I mean, right on the head there. That new moon was very like, okay, personal fire, but back to the card, look at the bigger picture. Now is, like you said, time to help others to ignite that fire as well. And just create that momentum that we're all patiently waiting on.
Yes. And this is like another thing, like being in the time of a pandemic really shows us how connected we really are. We're really not separate. And this is just a microscope or a mirror that's being held up to show us that right now. And I think it's been beautiful, of all the horrific things that are going on, it's been beautiful to see like all the collaboration that is happening across the world in developing a vaccine, in developing protocols, in doctors working together to figure all of this stuff out. And charitable organizations coming together to support people and get them the supplies that they need. So there's a lot of good happening too.
A lot of beauty. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
beautiful to see people be selfless, or to see people be courageous. That is really what I'm feeling like. Solar plexus,
Yeah.
fire, power, feeling your humanity and feeling responsible about your part in humanity.
Yeah.
Um,
What are your
the
favorite
other,
ways to tap into the solar plexus?
oh, so I know I've been working on, so that came to me this past week. My solar plexus needed
Yeah.
some attention. So I've been working with some essential oils. Lemongrass has been what I enjoy the
Mm,
most.
yes.
So, but any lemon, citrus will help with
Mm-hmm.
solar plexus. I've been very cautious and intentional with what I've been putting inside of my body.
Mm-hmm.
Is this helping my digestion, or is it making it more difficult? Because
Yeah.
I noticed that as well was harming my solar plexus and hurting my inner fire.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, I love affirmations.
Me too. Me
So
too.
yeah, I'm a affirmations queen. And when you find the right affirmation, it's
Yeah.
like boom, something totally clicks in your,
Yep.
like, your whole soul goes, oh wow, that's what I needed.
Yep.
So working with the affirmations, but within the solar plexus for me, and this is what I'm going through right now, and hopefully it resonates with someone, but going on to the side of acceptance of self.
Yeah.
I believe I had a lot of courage for accepting others, but I was still lacking on the acceptance of myself, having the courage to just accept myself. So working with affirmations that build that self-esteem up, that feeling
Yeah.
worthy. Also within the movement that I've been doing, a lot of core work. And while
Mm.
I'm doing the core work, I envision the yellow right at my solar plexus.
Yes.
It gives you so much fire and power, and you can really get through that core work,
Yes.
and feel a lot better. Um, and the next thing
Our,
you know, it's like 30 minutes later, and you can't believe that you just did abs for like 30, 45
yeah.
minutes. and I can honestly say though, with that, I am not as sore.
Mm.
My recovery has been much better within.
Oh.
Yeah, so and I think it is from overall just really nurturing my humanity.
Yeah.
That's what solar plexus is all about, like
Yeah.
who I am physically, who I am as a person in this world,
Yeah.
the space that I take up, and feeling worthy of the space that
Yep.
I'm taking up. Um, yeah,
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's
thank you.
wonderful. And something that just came up for me too is like, if you're feeling caught up in the fear spirals of right now and feel totally out of a routine and out of control, and like your energy is being zapped by every which way, like just ask yourself the question, what is the simplest action I can take right now to come back into my power? And that might
Mm,
be drinking a glass of water. I know for
mm,
me, that's one simple practice that I have upped is drink how much water I'm drinking. So, and I'm always adding sea salt and lemon to my water to
mm.
add electrolytes and minerals so that my body's really getting hydration on a cellular level. So that's one simple thing that you can do to take your power back. Find an
That's
affirmation.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, anyone listening, if you just do that, I promise you, you
Yeah.
you are gonna feel better. That's a beautiful tip.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of where I've been at is how can I simplify things?
Yeah.
Because then we create the space for ourselves to really check in and be like, how am I feeling right now? What do I need right now? And that's a practice. So if you're totally out of practice and you're like, I have no idea what I need, that's okay. Take a breath. What is one loving thing you can do for yourself right now? Just start asking simple questions like that. How can I take my power back? What's one loving thing I can do for myself right now? What's one loving thing I can do for another right now? These simple things will get you back into the flow, back into the rhythm of your highest self.
Yes. And just being open to, guess what, guys, our normal is different now.
Yes.
Our and it's going to be like that for a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because life has ups and downs, pandemic or not.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a great
So just
reminder.
acknowledging. Yeah. Oh gosh. But once again, patience, being in the moment,
Yeah.
using all the natural gifts you have to be here,
Hmm.
and being intentional. Um, this Libra full moon is going to provide us with a lot of opportunity for release. So I
Mm.
will say get prepared for that, everyone. Try to really carve out some time for a salt bath, or if you don't have access to a tub, you can just take a bowl and put some hot water in it and add some salt and essential oils that you like, any plants, anything that works for you, and just rub the water across your body, take a shower. But just really, I would advise carve out at least an hour in the next couple of days for just releasing.
Yeah, I love
Just
that.
let it out, let it flow out, make room so that more balance can come in, and be
Yeah.
loving and patient with yourself. I think so many of us can be very patient and loving to others, and sometimes to the extreme, but we're having to learn how to be loving and patient towards ourselves,
Yeah.
and with that same enthusiasm and magnitude,
Yeah.
because you deserve it. You deserve it.
Completely. And you are the owner of that voice. So you can, if it's rather negative right now or condescending or deflating, you have the power to change that. You have the power to say, I'm not going to give these thoughts much weight. I'm not going to really give them anything. They're here. I acknowledge that. And I'm going to choose to focus on what's going well. And I'm going to choose to focus on everything I'm great at. And I'm going to choose to focus on how worthy I am just for existing, just for breathing, just for being
Mm,
here. I know that my life has a purpose.
mm. You should record all that affirmation, put it with some good
Yeah.
music, some binaural beats or something. Could put some certain frequency in there, because that was beautiful. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Good. So we're keeping it simple this time, y'all, keeping it quick and simple, but hopefully you can take just one of the nuggets that we've given you and really bring intention to it. Really let it be spacious and spend some time with it.
Mm. Enjoy the full moon. Find something
Enjoy.
to celebrate, find something to release, and then pick something that you want to amplify. I want to ask you that, Jay. So, what would you like to release this full moon?
Yeah. So I am releasing in my true like six houses in Scorpio fashion, like past versions of myself. So for me, I've been working with the essential oil called Forgive, and it's the renewing blend from doTERRA.
Mhm.
And so
Uh-huh.
a lot of my past has been coming up. I've been having a lot of dreams about past versions of myself. So just releasing them and coming into the right now and letting myself just be who I am right here in this moment, not needing to, because I've noticed one of the ways that I have previously grasped for control is
Yeah,
to be like, okay, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is who
yeah,
I am. And the truth is that we're always, if we're on a path of self-growth, we're always going to be outgrowing those. We're always going to be outgrowing those labels, those identities, those versions of ourselves, and stepping into a new one. And when you are transitioning into that new unfolding, it feels uncomfortable. It feels raw. It feels vulnerable. So I would encourage you, and what I'm encouraging in myself is to stay with it, to stay with the
yeah.
discomfort and really let my wings spread.
Beautiful. And what would you like to amplify? Because the full moon
Mm.
intensifies everything.
My willingness to be seen.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you've been doing awesome with that. So I'm glad
Thank
to.
you.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that amplified. I for sure, this full moon and releasing any emotions of unworthiness.
Hmm.
Um, and I really want to amplify my dedication to self-love, self-forgiveness,
Mm.
um, self-encouragement, self-empowerment, all those things, making sure that I continue to make space for that in my life, especially once the world gets busier again. So
Yeah.
very excited. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. One of those foundational practices, self-love.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're sending you so much love through this time, and we'll see you again on the next new moon.
See you guys then.